This semester's bachelor seminar, Architecture Theory, focuses on the essay as a form of writing and as a genre in architecture. It is a popular way to write among architects, and perhaps it's because this genre's peculiarity is that the essay never directly says what it wants to say. Rather, it invents a setup, a literary site, or a plot, or a topos, in which what it wants to say can be placed and accommodated so well that it can speak for itself. For a writer, the essay is probably the most challenging genre. It does not express or state opinions or make proposals that could be accepted or refuted. Rather, it picks up what is already being talked about and makes it appear in a peculiar light. We will also proceed like this. In the seminar, every student will pick one of 4 books that appeared in the series Architecture Words. And you will work with this book throughout the entire semester in exercises from week to week. These exercises, they are designed such that your book of essays, written by another architect, will become your catalyst for figuring out what you want to say and how to say it in your final piece, an essay in your own name. The course will be taught by myself and Angeliki Giannisi, who is an architect and a PhD candidate at ATTP. She will now introduce you a little bit to the kind of literary reason with which we want to work by speaking about the motif that we picked for our poster.
Our seminar poster presents an example of an encounter between architectonic words and literary reason. The axonometric drawing depicted was the result of a studio titled Joyce's Garden, taught by Bernard Tschumi in 1976. The literary text Finnegan's Wake, written by James Joyce, was used as the blueprint for a project involving a dozen different student contributions on London's Covent Garden. The intersections of a prescribed study grid became the locations of its architectural intervention, and the point of entry was Joyce's architectural text. The network of points functioned as a mediator between the literary nature of the program and the architectural text. Joyce's Garden did not attempt to reconcile the differences resulting from the superimposition of one text on another. Rather, it encouraged the opposing and often contradictory logics of the different systems. In our seminar sessions, we want to understand architecture as an instrument of architectural thinking that operates between the material and the immaterial, between practice and theory. Our concern is not a representation of literature through architecture, but rather how to relate to the literary and how this relationship can set in motion a way of writing essays that are inquisitive, speculative, and combinatorial. Inside Joyce's Garden, we can imagine students embracing the wildness, collecting and cultivating, and carefully selecting its species so that the garden can happen. The garden is an architecture that acts upon nature without making tabula rasa of it. Rather, it creates a boundary. So we will create our own boundaries and look for points of entry to access their interior or exterior. The following passage by Elizabeth Gross on the logic of invention speaks to the ways that this may happen. Instead of requiring logical certainty, the guarantee of universal validity, the capacity to provide rules of procedure independent of the particularities of space and time, such a logic would instead require ingenuity, experimentation, novelty, specification, and particularity as its key ingredients. It would not seek to be certain, but rather to incite, to induce, to proliferate. Rather than direct itself to questions of consistency, coherence, and regularity, such a logic would focus on an intuition of uniqueness, the facing of each situation according to its specific exigencies, the openness to failure as much as to innovation.